Hi guys, how are y'all doing? This is lovely. Your favorite, I'm sorry, I was about to go my first intro versus anything. Your favorite neighborhood witch, Lady Reiko. And this is Kat. This is my best fairy, my favorite fairy. She be sitting here saying she does not look adorable, but she's fucking adorable all the fucking time.
Okay.
She's, I know, she's like her anxiety is getting triggered because I'm over anticipating her and telling her how amazing she is. But that's what we're here for. We're all about good vibes, safe spaces, and to acknowledge people for their flaws, as well as telling them that it's okay to be flawed. Because I am a very flawed creature, as those people will be sitting here saying that I'm the most perfect person in the world. Just a recap of basically what was going on is last week we were talking about the history of the Democratic versus Republican Party, and then about the fact of being there is different branches within that, and also gave you guys some resources about how to find out who will be the more idealistic candidate. We kept it very biased, even if we have our strong opinion about the running candidates right now, but we do want to talk about something very, very powerful today, with recent things that are going on in the news and everything that is going on when it comes down to the government. I have something I would like to read. I wrote this 2 days ago. I'm a little scared, but it's okay. My anxiety is, on something else. Go get him. Please go get him. I could just imagine how this is about to go the moment I get knee deep in this.
How many lizards he ate?
None. He sucks at capturing lizards.
Meow.
I don't want to hear it. The whole reason we changed rooms was because last time you decided to be a camera hog.
Yeah,
Anywho.
I'm afraid of leaving him out there because I don't want the leasing people to be like, hey, so we saw you left a cat outside for like an hour and a half. Why do you have a cat?
Yeah, no. Anyway, so, guys, on all serious notes, that is not what we're here. We're here for our Sunday detox, and basically with the detox, you guys know that we do talk about a lot of controversial things, mental health awareness, as well as things that are in the, that is within the black community that most people do not talk about and we keep taboo, especially when it comes to health, when it comes to sexuality, when it comes to changing and breaking stigmas. But like I said, I have something that I really wanted to read, that I'm really excited to read, that I took a lot of time and effort into. Only a few people have actually read it. And when I tell you guys that my heart is pounding as I'm about to do this, because I really suck at stage stuff, I really do, but it's okay. So, as you guys know, me being the best little witch that I can be, in a world full of devastation and tragedy, a queen, one of many, wanting to live the American dream in a flawed system, where people only see black and white. Cops taking away my brothers and sisters' crowns, dimming their light. As we take to the streets trying to wrong the rights, we're trying to cry for freedom and justice in a world where we are not seen as equal. We want justice and we want peace, but the peacekeepers are really the thieves, stealing away lives of those who did petty crimes. When was it a crime to live? To sleep in bed at night? To go cash a check? Where my skin is considered beautiful and my soul is painted as angry, but can you really blame me? Being afraid of dying before my parents as I lay in bed at night, as the cops kick down my door and I don't even get to stand a fight. To see the men and women who stole my life away not get justice they should have, as the protesters in the street are still holding up Black Lives Matters because apparently saving face for those who supposedly was there to protect me is the ones doing the killing and get to go free. Now those who fight for life, freedom, and justice in the streets say my name and take the lead. This is the endless tale that we've been saying for centuries. I've been face down saying I can't breathe as my life escapes me. Shot down for grabbing my phone because I seemed like I was going to attack. My life has been taken away from my kid in front of my kids who will always have fear to this day. I am every life that is lost to the hands of wrongful cops and police brutality. And you wonder why we say fuck the police. And we are angry when we say no justice, no peace. When our peacekeepers are really the enemies. Again, we've been dancing this political dance for centuries. Martin Luther King wanted us to be viewed as equals when he said that he had a dream. Systematically, we are not viewed as equals when our lives don't mean a fucking thing. So we will keep taking to the streets and keep saying their names until something change, because all we're asking for the bare minimum, and that is just for people to know our name and that our lives matter. We all bleed red. Our blood and our systems all have the same organs, unless you got them taken out. But we all bleed red. There's no black and white when it comes down to it. All we are asking for is for our lives to matter, and that is the bare fucking minimum. My black is beautiful. I am a mutt. I am a grade 8 American mutt. But yes, the system is going to be continuously flawed until we can fix it. And it starts not just on a presidential level. It starts with the district attorney. It starts with the sheriffs. It starts with coroners, who you have as your elected representatives for your state, your county, your district, your mayors, your governors. As a very peaceful person, as peaceful as I am, it breaks my heart. And it's not like I can go out and protest. Anybody who knows me knows why I have to avoid possibly getting coronavirus, because of my health, but I still do what I can. And as a prayer warrior, in a sense, when it comes to being a pagan, I still pray for those protections for those who are protesting. With the cops that are currently out there that are on the side of justice, and they agree that there is a lot of police brutality out there, until the system has changed, unfortunately, you are in the category of people that we basically are saying defund. I have family members who are police officers, and they understand where my hate is coming from and where everybody else's hate is coming from. I don't care if you're black, white, Spanish. Police brutality is something that is going on. It's a very serious matter. And the fact of being that the district attorney charged one police officer just to save face, and it was of a bullshit ass charge on why he got charged, while the other two went free. You guys are saying charge the district attorney. Unfortunately, you can't really charge him unjust. The only thing you can do is vote him out. I always tell people, look at your resources, because the thing is, the reason why he's there is because you guys voted him in. Look at what the time frames are. For sheriff, for district attorney, it's every 4 years. Vote. It's just like it is for presidential election, every 4 years. So for those people who are sitting here finding it unjust, you guys need to go out and find out for your county, for your city, for your state, for your district. Find out when your voting times is for your area. Just like I've been telling you guys from the time that we were talking about the gay rights, find out what rights you have in those states before you move. Find out what your voting is. Find out if you're in a swing state, a red state, a blue state. And actually look at some of these people's ideas. And just because they're Democrats doesn't mean that they have the same ideas as you. You might actually agree with some Republicans, because some Republicans are very progressive. Same with some Democrats. I'm not saying neither one of them good, because no offense, humans are evil. There's not that many people out there that are good. That's why I choose to be a good person. I choose to be a beacon of light. I choose to be a different person. One thing my producer is going to do is she's going to go ahead and let you know different resources, and she will be posting it in the chat as we go through this conversation. If you guys would like to end up talking more in depth, hear more of my poem pieces that are not political. Like I said, that's something that was heavy on my heart, because that could have been me. That could have been me. And it's like, I live in an apartment with a bunch of people who are military police, to me, for that matter. And a lot of them are white. One of these days, I could get my door kicked down. and you think that you might be in a blue state and you're Democratic and you're black and you might be safe, but that doesn't mean anything. With that being said, let's talk about this upcoming election. If anybody was here last week, you guys already know how we feel about it, and we are basically saying we're going to not have Trump in office.
He's gotta go.
One thing I could also say is if you're planning to vote, I don't care if you say that I'd rather not vote because both people are evil. Unfortunately, this is a case of the lesser of two evils. If we keep somebody in office, we are doomed to fail. And if we put somebody else in office, something's going to have to change. And it's not just about who's the head. It's also about all the other legs of the branches that we also need to worry about, that we need to vote. Now, I know that there was a new seat that just opened up because somebody passed away.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Yes, passed away. Ooh. So that means now that seat is about to be open. So now we're looking at somebody else probably coming to step into the foot for that.
Yeah. Even though when that happened in 2016, Mitch McConnell said we had to wait.
Thank you so much for the follow. I know the 2 people followed. I heard it. But right now we do also have a Discord for the podcast for people to call in if they want to give their 2 cents about what's going on politically. Like I said, my podcast is mainly not political, but there is a lot of people who are getting voted into office for Senate, state, as well as governors that does not really care for people with mental health problems, or women for that matter. So that's the reason we're talking about it. And mainly my platform is talking about mental health, as well as, people in different parts of the ethnic community who are Native American because of my Native American tribe. I am Blackfoot, as well as, African American. I do have other races in me, but right now those are the only 2 that matter because when you look at my skin, you see black. None of the other races mattered, apparently. I could put it on here saying I'm mixed, and y'all be like, no, you're African American. I'm like, have you seen my eyes? You see all these other features? Have you seen my dad? He has freckles. Like, do you really want to go this route? But I don't see black and white, and I hate to say that. I really don't. But I do see racism. I do see people who hate people for no reason. I am quick to raise other people up. I'll be telling this one all the time. Even she's like, I look ugly. I'm like, sorry. Don't you dare. For those who are in Kentucky, who are protesting, those who are in New York protesting because of the recent things, I want to say, the deepest part of my heart, I am praying for your protection. I want you guys to continue on the path. We should not be still doing the song and dance centuries later, but unfortunately, as long as we have people who constantly say, well, you're better off now than you were centuries ago, but they're not looking that it's an equal playing field. We don't have an equal playing field as others. Women don't. Black African Americans, Native Americans don't. Yeah, we're a lot better off now than we were, but that's not the issue. The issue is we're still not considered equal. I could be looking at her, and she could be looking at me, and she'd be like, she came from a bad background. Me and her are not the same. I'm using you as an example because you're right here.
Yeah, it's fine.
And that's just it. That's not how it's supposed to be. Everybody has a bad... I want to say before we get into the political part, and it took my class, because I am in a humanities class, and we are talking about the American dream. The system is very flawed. The system is always going to be flawed. And the only way for us to change what's going on in the world is we have to change the system. It's not about who's in seat. It's about the rules and regulations that is in the system. And we need to change those rules. We need to look at who's actually trying to change and make change in a system that is completely only catered to wealthy white American males.
Yeah.
Because even then, her being a white female, yes, she has a little bit more privilege than I do, but at the same time, she's still not equal to her white male counterparts who grew up on the same level field that she did. And she will never be equal to that. Male nurses get paid more than female nurses. And that's one thing I want people to understand. That's why I feel like women should be on the same playing field, same as gays, because even then, in certain states, for me being pansexual, and if me and her decide to get married, and we decide we want to adopt, let's go to Virginia. Virginia's like, no, because of religious reasons, you can't adopt.
Yeah.
And they can blatantly tell us that, and we have to abide by it because it's the state law. They can say because of religious reasons, we cannot have a child. And this is something I said in a couple episodes ago. It makes no sense. It doesn't. Or they could say we can't rent to you because of religious reasons. You're not Christian, so we can't vote for you. So we can't have you come in. We don't want you in our neighborhood.
That's ridiculous.
And it's a religious standpoint. And if you're in a state that's very religious, that's one of the things that you have to deal with.
Christian.
So I tell people all the time, before you move, figure out what your laws and regulations is before you go in, especially if you're gay, if you're women. In some states, like I said, they still do gender checks. If they sit here and say, ma'am, I'm going to need you to come to the bathroom, they can literally check you. A cop can check you and say, pull your pants down, or they can frisk you. Also, in the fact of being, now that we're going to go ahead and go into, we're going to go into a little bit deeper into voting. When most people get close to election time, because the way the U.S. is ran, we only go based off of Republicans, Democrats. Third parties are always taken off the ballot in some states. Third parties is sometimes not even recognized during the time of elections. You're so big on seeing political campaigns for the two dominant parties versus the Green Party or the independent parties.
Mm-hmm.
In all actuality, a lot of the times, like we stated before, you might have more political pull or ideas more catered to somebody in the Green Party or in the, individual party. Libertarians. Yeah. They put everybody under independent party. You know that, other than Republicans. They don't look at it. Yeah. And the thing is, like what I said, my sister's going to actually put up a link for you to see who is actually running. And then you'll answer some questions. Because you may sit here and think that all this time you've been Democrat. But when you take this test, it's going to tell you who's running and whose ideas match up more with your own. And you'll be very surprised to find out. And if you're going to go vote, please don't be one of those people that just go straight down the line and say, well, all these people are Democrats and you don't know anything.
Yeah.
Because when you look at your ballot, unfortunately, because of, laws or regulations, I can't show you a copy of a ballot at all. I don't even think we have a sample one, do we? Because the sample one I can show you, but I can't show you what, like, a real one.
I just have my official.
Yeah, no, I have only my official one, so I can't even show y'all that either. When you look at your polls, if you're getting a mail poll, look at who's running. Research them.
Yes.
Because you have to make sure you meet those deadlines. And also take in consideration right now, if you're going to be mailing in your ballots, with the way the postal service is right now, as well as UPS, FedEx, all them other things, everything is still delayed.
Yeah.
In certain states, because some states are still going through, their national disasters. Some of them are having people actually protest, and right now, I think Kentucky's really about to hit it bad when it comes to polling, because if they're still rioting by the time the elections are come, none of their mail-in votes is going to really matter.
Yeah.
And then on top of everything else, you want to make sure you're registered in your state. You might actually qualify to be registered, and you may not even know.
And there's ways to find out when the register deadline ends. Like I know in Florida, the deadline's October 5th. So find it out. If you're not registered to vote, register to vote, please. Lord.
I think most places it's 30 days before election.
Yeah.
I think it's like 30 to 40 some states. I think some counties are extending because of the national disasters. I think Cali might be one of them.
That's good.
But it's just one of those things where you need to know where you are, what your deadlines are, who's running at that time. Now, mind you, when I sit here and I talk about those little, like, down the line, voting for, like, your sheriffs, your district attorneys, all them other things, some of them are actually up for seat this year. Some of them are not up for seat for another year or two, because sometimes they do offset it off a presidential election, so they're not competing with each other, but some of them are up for office this year. So you need to see who is running for those particular ones. And even then, a lot of people don't realize, because they do not promote it, except for those who are actively looking to vote. They do not promote it in your county. And unless you have, like, televised TV, and most people don't. Most of us are in a generation where we're targeted on Netflix, YouTube, everything's streamlined. So it's nothing like local news and stuff. Not many of us watch the news anymore. I actually make it a point that Google, when I wake up, part of it is the news, and it'll go through 2 news stations before it goes to music, because my parents educated me in the sense of I need to know what's going on in the world around me, especially if it's going to be something that affects me. And if you are a woman, if you are anything of any minority, you should at least keep up with the news a little bit, to an extent, because you don't know. They can write a law, and if you're not paying attention to the news, because a lot of our generations do not pay attention to the news. They're so compelled but paying attention with social media and not realizing that we're educating each other on the wrong things. We're so focused on social media that we're not even educating ourselves on what's going on in the world. We'll be so quick to share a sad story, but not be quick enough to share anything that's good in any way, shape, or form.
That's true.
Check the DMs in Discord. In what?
Jody sent a sample ballot.
Oh. Jody sent a sample ballot? I don't know if you can open that and show. Well, it's actually in our Discord now, in the Discord for the podcast, what a sample ballot looks like. I feel like, and that's something, thank you, Jody, for reminding me. So, me and Jody, we were talking earlier, because me and him, we talk on a mental health level and a political level all the time. One thing that me and him were talking about whose job is it to educate people how to vote? Should it be the school's job? Should it be a parent's job? When is the right time to tell your child how to vote? Because I know that they still have school elections. They do.
Yeah, that's true.
But that's not
You
the
don't learn
same.
anything of importance in school, though.
No, you don't learn. You don't learn how to vote. Balance it. You don't learn about taxes. You don't learn how to fucking, balance a checkbook. You want to know how I learned how to balance a checkbook? I moved the fuck out at 18 years old and had to pay my first set of bills. And my first check, it was like, hey, I got money. And then my check was like, poof. Because all the bills were like, bye.
I've never had a checkbook.
I did.
I've never had one. I'm a 30-year-old woman. I've never had a checkbook.
I had a checkbook at 14 to 16. But when it comes down to that, the school doesn't educate you on the history of the parties. They briefly skim across it when I was in school. Now I don't even think they really talk about it. You might get lucky with a history teacher who might talk about it because they might be passionate about it.
Yeah.
But I don't think they really talk about it anymore.
They should.
Especially in the South. No offense. The South is so fucking ass backwards.
You do not need to say no offense to me. You know I hate it here.
Yeah. That's why we're going to be moving to New York.
Thank God.
But, no. For those who are watching, whose job should it be to educate new voters how to vote and the differences between the parties? I know we live in an age of technology. We do. We live in an age of technology, and most new age parents, technology is training and teaching their kids.
Yeah.
So who should be the person who educates children? If they're turning 17, going into 18 before election year, who should be training them before the election comes up? Because I had a girl who was 18, she didn't vote that year.
which is valid because they do do a lot of.
Jody mentioned that it's in college.
Yeah.
Yeah, because again, most teachers have the liberty. They have more.
Stats will actually help you register to vote.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of colleges will. Even when I worked at the mental health hospital, there was a lot of teenagers there that were freshly turning 18. They registered them to vote, and these are a lot of kids who were Baker acted. So they helped them register to vote and even educated them how to vote when I was working at that hospital. And that's a state hospital.
Nice. When one thing I thought was really cool with some of the protests that I've gone to, there's been people there that have had tables, and it's you can register to vote here, and they have a lot of information. I thought that was really awesome.
I feel like that is where we're getting to, where most people are learning more from experience, and I'm happy that we have a lot of those chairs out there and a lot of those people educating people, especially when it comes to that. I feel like everybody should take a humanities class based off of the American Dream, or at least study the American Dream and see how systematically flawed it is. Even to this day, it is only still catered to wealthy, rich, white males. And
rich,
how
white, straight men.
Yes, definitely got to make sure you say full-blown straight males. And it is something that, unfortunately, we need to break the system to change in order for that to even be more fair. Because, unfortunately, yes, it's a baseline, it's a credo, but at the same time, if you look at what it is, it's success. What is the definition of success? What is your definition of success?
I mean,
I put you on the spot.
You did a little. It's okay. I mean, my definition of success and someone else's is probably, my definition of success is that I'm able to keep a roof over my head and feed myself and pay my bills.
That's our generation, right?
Yeah.
That's basically our generation.
I don't really get to save any money.
No.
It's not really a thing that I get to do.
No. And in our older generation, their ideas of that would probably be more of, saving money, buying a house, having a successful job, having kids, their kids being successful. That is their version of success.
Yeah.
Our version of success is just making sure we maintain and be above water.
Yeah.
But here's the deal, though. In order for us to actually maintain success, we need to make sure that those who are in elective office on all the playing fields are here catering to our generation, because some of them don't care for our generation. Some of them are only caring for their generation. So you have to look at how their views are when it comes to health, how they look at, minorities, and look in the urban areas, or, the ghettos or the hoods, or when it comes down to welfare and, Department of Education and things of that level. Because the thing is, who is it that basically goes off of for DCF? Isn't that the, over that, the Department of Children, huh? Huh?
What was the question?
Who is over Department of Children and Family Services for the states?
Nothing else.
Because I know the person in Florida is doing a piss poor job, and the one in Georgia is doing a piss poor job. I'm gonna need you to get together, because look.
I think it's either whichever part Ben Carson's at head of, or
Ew, Ben Carson.
Yes.
Ew, disgusting.
or maybe
Exactly.
Department of Interior.
Okay, so the reason why I say you need to find out and who is grinding and how they view certain children's welfare. The person who is over it in the state of Georgia failed with all those kids who went missing. The one in Florida failed with all those kids who went back to very bad parents and lost their lives. you have to look at those levels, because every person running has different views on different things, whether it comes to welfare, whether it comes to, you know, people who are retired. Most people in Florida, the people in Florida are mainly catered to those who are retiring. They care more about the retirees. They don't care about the college students. Even if we are about a 50-50 down the street, I feel like there's more retirees by maybe like a 0.5%, maybe.
Yeah. I think they're all state run.
They're all state run?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's what I've kind of figured.
I don't think federal has anything, has jurisdiction over.
Are you sure it's not, no, I think there is state run. I think it is by whoever is in that state who's over. Nico.
Yeah, like the DCF, Department of Children's Services, all of that is based off state government, not federal government.
That's why we need to make sure we know who's running the state.
Yeah, so there's no federal office.
Could we please get the person in Florida out? Because he's sucking some major tail.
Florida just sucks.
For anybody who wants to move to Florida, okay, all right. Florida has its okay qualities.
It does. The weather's okay.
Also mentioned it's also important to recognize the judges that are involved in family welfare cases.
Yes. Absolutely.
Definitely. And judges are people you vote in for those seats.
Yes.
A lot of people don't realize that the judges is who you vote in.
Mm-hmm.
Be very careful. Again, that is that whole thing about do not vote for a judge because they say Democrat or because they say Republican because you think you're a Republican or you're a Democrat and that's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Literally look at their stance, their history, do digging, because if you run for any position you have to run for, they have to put your background up.
Yes. And also inform yourself on the amendments, because a lot of times the way they word them can be tricky. Sometimes voting yes means you're against it and not for it.
Exactly.
So you really need to research stuff.
There was a year I was voting that they were trying to legalize marijuana in the state of Florida, but the way they worded it was not for you to vote for it to be legalized.
Exactly.
It was literally making it so it was illegal versus legal, and it was just how it was worded.
Yeah, you had to vote no, I think, if you wanted it to be legal.
Exactly. And a lot of people, I think, who are potheads probably went in, smoked before they went, and they're like, oh, yeah.
You also have to watch when voting for legislation, the different legislations that are actually written within a single.
Oh yeah, definitely when it comes to legislation. A lot of people think it's so black and white and crystal clear when it comes to voting. But when it comes to voting, it is a very, very strategic, and this is why I feel like people should educate themselves, find the proper resources, because when you're voting for like things being legalized, things going into notion, you may be voting to get rid of Planned Parenthood and you may not even realize it. And people don't realize how important Planned Parenthood is. Planned Parenthood is literally was sitting here giving away free condoms, guys. Like, y'all don't understand. It was helping people, but we had all those pro-life people. Planned Parenthood is only for abortions. No,
it's not.
They were for people who could not afford to go to an OBGYN, for women who had polycystic cyst syndrome, who had ovarian cancer, who needed birth control because they were having issues, for them needing to find out why the world that they had more pH balance or not enough pH balance, or they were having like white creamy stuff in their damn underwear. Why is this discharge?
Where did this come from?
What is this? Not realizing they have an STD. Like, and Planned Parenthood educated kids who did not get to go to sex eds because their parents felt like they shouldn't go. Like, I felt like they were great, and they gave you, some of them gave you free STD checks.
Yeah.
Which now you almost gotta pay $200 to fucking get a whole panel done. Oh my god, do you know, like, there's places now that you can literally mail in samples of shit and they will do your testing for $300?
Oh my god.
And you mail it in.
Jesus.
You mail it in. It's $300 for a full STD test.
Interesting.
And if you're a woman, you gotta do your own cervix scan.
Oh no.
I wouldn't want to do that. I wouldn't want to, like, sit here and do, like, a weird position. No.
No.
But no, literally, that is where we're at. And that's just it. Like, especially women. Like, I am not saying that guys don't care about us, but we should care about us. Especially black women, especially right now, how the justice system is handling Breonna Taylor's, everything going on with her. It's really showing how disrespected black women are and how underappreciated we are. So we need to sit here and literally take charge to worry about ourselves, because obviously our government does not care about us. Honestly, I feel like everything that's going on with the coronavirus and how they're handling it, especially the officials, like, yeah, y'all don't gotta wear masks no more. I literally was watching Cookie Kawaii going out to the movies and watching stuff, and not a single person wearing a goddamn mask. I'm just like,
jeez.
It wouldn't be me. I got too many health issues, baby.
Mm-hmm.
I got family members who got too many health issues. Hell, when I go to Chicago in a couple weeks, I'm going to be wearing my mask the entire time until I take my picture. I'm going to be like, okay, you need me to take a picture? Okay, hold on. I'm going to be doing that. But that's just me. I care enough about me because nobody else cares about me. I care enough about this creature right here that I won't do anything to harm her. She works at a medical facility and she tells me, yes, I got tested for corona. This is what my results are. And then before she comes over every Friday.
Yes.
Because she cares enough about my health. And then anytime she knows she wants to go protest, she goes protest for me because she knows I can't go out and do it. And she's sitting here and she's doing everything in her power because she knows that we are in an unjust system. That plus you also like black people. Okay. But it's just, y'all go out and vote. Please. I mean, if you are so about all lives matter, and I mean not in a fucking asshole way.
I hate it.
Because, I mean, the people who are sitting here saying that all lives matter and they're doing it because they're being assholes and they're being systematically racist, fuck you, first and foremost. There's no other way to say that. I mean, I can't be mean about it. We're not saying that all lives don't matter. We just saying that we need to matter, which is the minimum. And that is basically saying that we matter enough that we're going to get the same justice as if it was somebody else who was white who got killed by a cop. Because I guarantee you, those 3 cops, if they wrongfully unshot a white person,
they wouldn't shoot a white person. First
and foremost, well, I know that. But hypothetically, if they wrongfully shot a white person and the bullet strayed and hit somebody and killed them, they would have been hit with manslaughter or at least murder, first degree murder.
100%. And it would have happened, like, immediately.
Immediately. It wouldn't have taken this long for this woman to get justice. Like I said, that could have been me. That could have been my sister. I know people who have lost family members due to police brutality. And a lot of this stuff that's going on that they're sliding by is based off of who was elected as the county sheriff and who was elected as district attorneys and those who were elected as the judges who are handling those cases. So check and look when the time to vote for those certain people is time to do so. You can sign as many petitions as you want to, but if the petitions fell through and these people get voted in for another 4 years because you decide not to vote, to be rebellious, I'd rather be like the lesser of 2 evils. We talked about this last podcast, is that the reason why Trump got in is because nobody in our generation fucking voted. A lot of people did not vote. And the funny thing is, Hillary, as fucked up as she is, she would have won the popularity vote because with the popularity, she won.
Yeah.
But electoral college goes based off of who actually fucking votes.
Yeah.
Not by popularity, not by how many people sitting here and you get that little survey randomly on YouTube talk about who would you hypothetically vote for. No, who actually went to vote. They actually showed that more than 50% of registered voters did not vote that year. We need to do better.
Yes.
We need to do better. I voted. That's the reason why I have all right to complain about who's in office. Because I didn't vote for him.
And me either.
And I'd sit here and anybody I hear that says, well, yeah, I didn't vote for him. I didn't vote at all. I don't want to hear you complain. I don't want to hear it. You have no rights. Now, unless you don't have the right to vote, then you have all right to vote. All right to sit here and complain. But for those who sat here and they have the right to vote and chose not to vote, please do not complain, because you did not help solve the case. Exactly. People sit here and say it doesn't matter, their votes don't matter, but it actually does when it comes down to the Electoral College. We can outrule and outset those balances. We have the power to change things. We have the power to do stuff. That is the whole reason we have the system that we have. It is not a dictatorship. We have rights to be able to change shit that is going on. Because believe, if we were living in North Korea...
Oh my gosh. Yes. Exactly.
None of this shit would matter. People would just die, and we would just walk over their body. We would literally watch a person kill somebody, and we would just walk over the body and pretend like we didn't see it, and keep it moving.
Yeah.
As unjust as our system is, we still have the capabilities to go ahead and vote and change a lot of stuff. So you need to pay attention on what's on your ballots. Pay attention. Do your research. You have plenty of fucking time. November 3rd is the day to vote. You can see who's going. You can actually look at a sample ballot of who is in electoral for your area, for your district. Because I think we have a coroner that's available. I didn't even know that.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
It's an elected position, apparently.
It's an elected.
Interesting.
It is.
Oh.
For our area.
Okay.
I don't know if it's our county or if it's just...
Maybe. I'll have to look into that for Duval.
Yeah, because, I mean, Camden County has definitely said, no, if you want a coroner, if you die, we need to know who's touching your body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And sheriff.
Well, I know the sheriff's voted for.
Yeah. The sheriff.
That's...
apparently the coroner.
Wow.
So whoever's handling your body.
Interesting.
Who's cleaning up the scene. So it's just...
Who's writing your cause of death.
Oh, yeah, and they're writing your cause of death. Right. So then also, if they sit here, that's important too. So if your county has coroners, you want to make sure you're putting the right person, because if I get shot by police, the coroner could say, she got shot by gang violence. And they would just go out and look at it. And my parents would be like, nah, gang violence. Our daughter? Nah, maybe our son, but not the daughter. I love my brother. He wouldn't do that now. He's an angel.
Oh, yeah. And the coroner has a political party. Our current coroner is Republican.
Oh,
of course he is.
Of course he is.
Georgia. It's just like northeast Florida, because I live in northeast Florida, which is basically just southern Georgia. So it's just pretty much the same.
Oof.
A lot of rednecks. Did I tell you? Oh, this is totally off topic. Well, kind of, not really. About my parents' neighbors. The like crazy Trump ones. And what they have in their house. Can I just tell you about this really quick? Okay.
Yes.
So they have like these columns, and they have Trump 2020. They have a flag up that says Trump 2020 no more bullshit. And then they've put up a new thing on their fence, which is Trump's face photoshopped onto Rambo's body. And none of us can say anything because it's all on their property. Because, freedom of speech and all that. But it's the most obnoxious, like, racist, redneck thing I've ever seen in my life.
That's just as bad.
Every time I go by their house, I just want to rip it all down.
It is just as bad as me seeing the people come off the airplane when I was still working for the airline.
Oh, yeah.
That had the full-blown Trump 2020 jumpsuits
Oh,
with his face on it. And I'm just like, are you okay having another man's face on your jumpsuit? Like, I get being patriotic. I get it.
That's no.
But then I don't get it. I don't, like, I mean, like, for 4th of July, wearing the flag, swim trunks.
You know that wearing the flag is actually disrespectful to the flag.
It is.
You want to know what's not disrespectful to the flag or the military? Not standing for the anthem. Because it's freedom of speech, and we live in a free country, so if you don't want to stand for the anthem, you don't fucking have to. Sorry.
But then they got mad because somebody kneeled.
Yeah, see, the thing is they got mad at him for peacefully protesting, and then when you went out and actually protested, they wanted you to peacefully protest, which you had done, and then they got mad at that too.
Oh, but that's also freedom of speech.
It's all freedom of speech. That's why it makes me so mad when, like, Republicans are like, you have to stand for the anthem. And it's like, no, I really don't, because we don't live in North Korea, and I don't have to stand for the anthem or the pledge if I don't want to. Nope.
Nope.
It's a free country. I can do what I want.
It is a very free country. You can do what you want. You are allowed to peacefully protest. You are allowed, as long as it's public property or your own property, you are allowed to peacefully protest. You are allowed to go out. People need to know their rights. Yes, and then what's so bad that really irks me,
especially with police.
Yes, that too.
I'm sorry.
When it comes to police, when it comes to people giving you calls, especially the telemarketing calls where they ask you for your name and ask you to confirm your information. By law, you do not need to provide your information, especially for debt collection. If they say, oh, I need to confirm that you're the person. If you cannot disclose to me what this calls for, I am not going to confirm my information because you don't know if that person is actually a scammer. So why would I provide you my information or confirm my information that you can pull offline? Because you can pull the last four of my social offline. You can pull my date of birth. If you just Google my dad or Google my name, you can pull that information. You can pull when my date of birth is. You can pull who I got married to, when I got married, blah, 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 and this, that, and the other. That's public information. Anything you file in the court is public information. So if a company calls you, which you also got to know, what is your time frame for soliciting calls? If they're calling you for debt collection, they are not allowed to call you before, I think it's like before 7 a.m. and after 7 p.m. I think.
I have no idea.
It's a time frame they're allowed to call you. But after those time frames, if they call you outside of that, you can block their number. You can actually block their number, and then if they ask you for that information, you can still tell them, for protection of my information, I am not going to give it. And if they decide to give it to you and say, I don't know how you got that information, but unfortunately I'm not going to confirm that because I don't feel comfortable. You need to know what it is. It's about deliverance and how you deliver it. A lot of people don't realize that even when it comes down to being stopped by a police officer, you do need to ask them, you can ask them the question, why did they get stopped? And a police, technically, if you start showing signs of anxiety or with anything, they're supposed to call backup. And if you're a woman and you get pulled over, and a lot of people don't realize this, if you're a woman, you get pulled over and you're the only person in the car, they are not supposed to be there by themselves. If it is a male police officer, it needs to have another police officer who is a female who is there with you.
Oh, see, that didn't happen when I got pulled over.
Huh?
When I was a teenager, I got pulled over by 2 male police officers. They made me cry.
Yeah, they're supposed to have a female police officer when they pull over a male when a male pulls over a female. That's fine. Because a lot of people don't realize that is a safety concern, because in certain states, male police officers were known for sexually harassing females, and it's a checks and balance thing about that. So that's the reason why I said if you are a female and you get pulled over by a male cop, you do not have to open your window until a female cop is presented. You could tell them, I need a female cop to be here because I feel unsafe, and then they have to call for a female one. You will sit there until a female cop gets there. I tell people this all the time. You need to know what your rules are and what your rights, especially as women. Yeah. Especially as women.
You should also know what your rights are if you plan on taking photos or stuff. And they try to take your equipment. You need to know your rights there as well.
Yeah, you do have a right to record and take photos of them.
Yes, you
because they do have body cams that they can turn off. People fail to realize that they can take those off. But when it comes down to it, I want people to understand one major thing. Register to vote. Register to vote, please. Register to vote, please.
It's so important.
Because
Trump's gotta go.
It's not even just him.
I know it's all of them, but he's really gotta go.
He's gotta go, and a lot of the people he put in office with him, he needs to go. His cabinet needs to go. Those who are in Senate needs to go. A lot of those Republicans, surprisingly enough, I can't say all Republicans, because there's some Republicans that, ironically, they're very progressive. They're, liberal Republicans that not really, they have some of the Republican views, but they're more progressive. Moderate.
Yeah, moderate.
Yeah, they're more moderate. So it's again, that's why I tell people, go to the website my sister posts, Find out who's running for those little, those little sidebars. Because even if we do elect someone else in, mind you, Trump is still going to be in office until when does he officially get out? Like January, February?
January 20th?
Yeah, it's sometimes in the beginning of 2021 that he's still in office until that time. Yeah. Until, the inauguration. I'm
like genuinely worried about what will happen if he gets reelected. I'm not trying to be funny.
No, you're not trying to be funny, but I am seriously concerned if he stays in office another 4 years.
He's just got some fascist views that I'm not super
It's not even just the fascist views, it's the fact of being
Well, it's a whole, stoking the flames of, white supremacy thing the whole time he's been in.
He's literally been poking the flames at that, one. And then a lot of the stuff he says is he lies, and then when he gets caught in a lie, he tries to downplay the lie. I said this so people don't panic. The whole,
wasn't that recent?
That was over the coronavirus.
The corona, yeah.
And the girl was just like, I'm trying to talk, and you keep overruling me, and you basically downplayed a virus that is taking out people. And a lot of the people in the state that is like, we don't care if a few people die, agree with Trump. And a lot of that is a state decision. It's not just Trump. Yeah. Because Trump, yes, he has a jurisdiction over the entire U.S. It's also about your state electives. A lot of your state electives and governors are the ones who make that final decision whether or not your student has to go to school. Like the state of Florida, basically, he was like, no, fuck that. If you decide to do homeschooling, your year won't count. So if you fail, that doesn't count. None of your shit that you've done up to that point count.
Yeah, Ron DeSantis you're gonna have to, is a Trump puppet, though. He just does whatever Trump tells him to do.
He has his lips constantly puckered the fuck up
for ass kissing. Yes, he does.
I'm just saying. But I sit here and I tell people like this. As a black woman who cares about my nation, as a black woman who cares about my people, as a black woman who cares about women and gays, everybody in the LGBTQ community, please, please, please look at who is running for your area. Look at it in a not just on a minor scale, but on a major scale. Because I don't know who may be running for your state. I know who's running for my state because I make sure I'm educated for the state of Georgia, because unfortunately I'm going to be here another year. I need to know who's running, and I need to know how does their views intertwine with mine. I need to know how is it going to affect my health care. Because guess what? Your health care, your insurance is based off your state.
Yeah.
Your auto insurance, your minimum coverage when it comes to that, it's not just about, how many accidents are prone in that state. Because hell, think about how bad Cali is.
Yeah.
A lot of that stuff is based off of the government and who you vote in. So look at what it is for your state. Look at what their views are. Actually do research, because these people, when they run, they have to tell you what their political views are when it comes to certain things, especially when it comes to women, when it comes to healthcare, when it comes to children, when it comes to, poverty, when it comes to, taxes and laws and how certain local governments are ran. A reason why a lot of these people are still standing is because y'all keep going down the checkbox saying, well, I'm a Democrat, I'm going to keep voting Democrat down the line, not realizing you might be doing more harm to yourself than good. So you actually need to do the research, because, again, there's some Democrats who do not see eye to eye with other Democrats. There are some Republicans who do not see eye to eye with other Republicans. There is a lot of things that when we come down, like I said, the coroner, that me and my sister didn't even know that we have to elect a coroner in our area, we just found that out. I don't think I've ever had to fucking vote for a coroner. Now that makes me scared. I think that scares me. More than anything, if I was to die in this county, I would wonder what that person would say I died by.
Yeah.
So honestly, that scares me. It scares me to a point that as lights need to be turned on, Diva. We're dimming. You are not paying attention to the background at all. You are the worst producer right now. I love you so much.
Hey.
Yeah, but you ain't even paying attention. You looking at the screen, not looking at the screen.
Yeah, I started.
No, too low. That's disgusting.
That's just.
That's disgusting. I could see that from the mirror image.
There's no perfect spot. Hold it.
Oh my god.
Oh my goodness.
Lights?
Oh
I don't have
man.
anywhere else to put it.
Oh my goodness.
Oh
He's
my
not
gosh.
using it.
Oh yeah, the cat tree. There you go.
There you go.
He's not using it.
He's not.
He's not. Yeah, he's over here.
He is living his best and fullest life.
Shadows. Okay.
I can go ahead and say, like, what was I just lost my train of thought because of the lights.
I'm not the best person to ask. I don't even know. Coroners.
Yes.
You're talking. Yes. Go Google.
So, like I said, that in itself scares me. But
Sorry.
it is your job as an American citizen to know your rights, know who's running for your state. And I don't care if you are moving out of that state in 3 months. Mind you, the election is before that. One. And what if something happens and you have to move back? What if your family's there? The voting that you put plays a major part in your generation, in your economy, when it comes to the people you care about, where it comes to mental health, physical health, your state, especially if you sit here and you vote a bunch of people who want basically us to start a civil war again against blacks and whites. You have to look at that. Especially we live in an age of technology where most of these people who are representatives, I know in the hell you're not, Nico. We live in an age of technology where most of these politicians and those who are running have access to a media access, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, IG. They are using these platforms to speak their voices and to, even if some of them are not like Trump, who constantly is a Twitter fiend.
Oh, Jesus.
But there's a lot of them who are on Twitter and you can get kind of a view of them. Because some of them are not being watched or regulated by their political parties or their campaign parties. Some of them are these own individual people who are actually handling their own accounts. Yes, most of them do have their own PR people that handle that. But when it comes down to it, take a gander at who's running. And you can look at it. Google it up. Google is the biggest resource that, as our generation can utilize. There should be no reason you say, well, I don't know who's running, or because I don't have TV, or this. Everybody has a phone. Everybody has a search engine. I don't even care if you got to use Bing.
Bing.
Sorry. Yahoo. Like, there's search engines. Google who is running in your area. Google what is going to possibly be on the ballot in your area. So you can research. See what laws are trying to get passed. Especially if you're a person like me who had mental health issues and you're trying to get off of your mental health, medication, and you want to go to CBD or get a medicinal marijuana card. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, until I vote for that stuff, I have to look. And even then, when it comes down to the restrictions of that actual law, they even put more voting onto that, where they'll be like, do you want to make marijuana legal? Check yes or no. If made legal, who qualifies for it? What is the stipulation? How many tests you need to go through? Like, they have little individual things down the line that's a check mark that you got to vote for. You be thinking it's a survey, but it's not a survey. It's legit. You're voting for these laws to pass because you have the right to pass these laws or help these laws get passed or into fruition. It's not just that. We're giving our personal views to our representatives to make these laws official. Yeah. The people are like, well, we don't have any pull on this. Yes, you do. Stop being naive. Do what you need to do. And if you care enough about lives in general, male, female, children, black, white, Asian, Native American, especially Native American.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Please. Because honestly, right now, because everything that's going on with the gay trans people getting murdered, the black people getting lynched, the riots that are going on, people getting hurt during the peaceful protest, and like Native American women going missing off of their own reservations. That has been going on for years, mind you.
Yes.
There is a lot of things going on in the world other than just people getting killed by police brutality. And a lot of these things is the reason why we are not doing the research is because the fact of being the people that we are electing into sheriffs and then our district attorneys as well as our other representatives do not give two flying fucks. We as people need to care enough about people to handle the things that we need to handle for our people. That is the whole reason America is supposed to be the best country in the world. Because we have a lot more freedom and a lot more liberty and a lot more pull on our government than we actually know. See what you guys have managed to do. We managed to get laws passed. Yeah, there was a Breonna Taylor law that was passed in that state, but at the same time,
someone shouldn't have to die.
Somebody should not have to die for that to pass. We can literally go and speak our case in front of the Senate. There was a guy who literally had a whole thing about how he feels like we should never say boneless wings as boneless wings, that we need to call them something else because it doesn't even come from the wing, it comes from the breast. And this was recent, mind you. He went to go fight his case to sign it off for a state law, mind you. This is a individual person who has no political views, and he went to fight his case and said that he is disgusted and he was upset and he feels like it's unjust for us to call them buffalo wings when they don't even come from the wing, they come from the breast of the chicken. So if that person can go and speak this, we can go and make laws go into effect. Mind you, our generation has made a lot of progression. Yes, we can make a lot of stuff, but I need y'all to understand how much power as people we have. We have a lot of power. And a lot of people don't realize the reason why that a lot of white people are afraid of black people is because we outnumber them. No offense. We outnumber most white people. In a lot of areas, we do. I love you to death. But you know I'm right.
I do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we've outnumbered them by, plenty. And that's why they're scared. That's why a lot of people don't realize that it is power in numbers. There is a way to handle it. We outnumber white people by a lot. And it's so bad because we are still called the minorities when in all actuality we're the majority. We are. And honestly, like I sat here and I said, with all these people who are going out saying Black Lives Matter, the people who really need to be on the side of that is anybody who has ever had any kind of oppression of any kind, and that includes the LGBTQ community and women. Especially trans women.
Yes. Especially
trans women. And a lot of people don't realize that you can possibly vote out gay rights if you're not paying attention to those ballots. Because there's been a few times I've seen it pop up in the state of Florida where they were trying to get that off. Gay rights or not, they were trying to get rid of gay rights in Florida. Mm-hmm. And they didn't even say nothing in the news. It was just on the ballot.
Yes.
And if I didn't read it, I was going to be like,
wait a minute. Yeah.
Excuse me? If I wanted to get married to a woman, I would like to get married to a woman. Thank you very much.
Exactly.
But
who I bring into my bedroom shouldn't be anyone's business.
Do you know in certain states that because they still have it as a law, a cop can come into your house and you can get arrested if you're having gay sex in certain states.
That's ridiculous.
Texas is one of them.
Of course it's Texas.
Texas is one of them. Tennessee used to be one.
Tennessee's also terrible.
Tennessee is terrible. Tennessee, you can still have sex with your, first or second cousin?
I think so.
Yeah.
Can't you marry them too?
Yeah.
No. It's okay.
And I think the age of consent for them is 16, 17?
Oh, I don't know.
16, 17? As long as the parents agree. Like, if the parents say it's okay, then you don't get arrested.
Ew.
Yep. This is what I sit here and tell people. Know what your laws is in your states. And that's the reason why, at the end of the day, if I have a daughter, I would never move to certain states. Mm-hmm. Especially if my daughter decides she wants to be gay. In certain states, Black people can be considered mentally unstable if they are gay and have depression, clinically depressed.
Oh my god.
They can be Baker acted indefinitely in certain states.
That's ridiculous.
Because they suffer depression, because they are a risk to themselves for contemplating suicide. If they even without possibility of suicide, they will get Baker acted.
No.
They're not mentally fit to take care of themselves. A lot of people go missing in those systems too. In the medical health facility. That's the reason why I stopped working at the mental hospital I was at.
Gotcha.
Because a lot of people were having issues. Because technically, even then, there was a lot of people who were having sex with patients. And they were reviewed for that. I won't mention the name of the hospital, but that was a county thing. That was a county thing too. That the person who was voted in for the county was letting it go under the radar. All they did was arrest the people, or they fired them. But that technically is against the rights because they are not competent to know what's going on to them. So it's technically rape. I look at it as rape.
I do too.
But the state was like, well, you're taking advantage of somebody who's mentally not well.
Yes.
So you're just going to get fired.
Rape is not taken seriously enough at all.
Oh, no. It's not.
Not at all.
That's also a reason why I sit here and I tell people at the end of the day, you really need to understand. And that's the thing that I hate about pro-lifers, because they're so quick to say that all lives matter except for people who are rapists.
Yeah.
Or people who are in jail for petty crimes.
No, the whole all lives matter thing is just so fucking stupid.
Oh, it's systematically racist.
Yes.
And that's the reason why at the end of the day we need to go ahead and make sure that we're doing our part to make sure we're getting these people out.
I just don't understand why a group of people saying that they just wanted to be treated equally is such a radical idea.
Oh no, we just want no. It's not even just that. It's not even just that we want to be treated equal. We want to just have people value us just a little bit. That we're not dirt.
Yes.
We just want to know that we matter enough to breathe.
Right. I don't
Is that too much?
understand why that's a problem.
No.
Don't get it.
No, because we are not supposed to be living. We are less than scum. That would be dramatically wrong for you guys. We are such a problem for you guys.
It's just basic human rights.
No. But according to them, we're not humans. We don't matter. Ugh. That would be just so bad.
Yeah.
So bad. I matter. I don't care. Anybody say. My skin is beautiful.
Yes.
Flaws and all. Just want to let you know. That's the reason why.
Prettier than mine. I'm pasty.
I still love you.
And also, white people just age horribly. Really bad.
I literally said that to my nail technician the other day. We were watching something on she had playing where I guess it's the wannabe real world, but they are on yachts, and there was it was like a whole yacht thing, and they were chartering these rich white people out, and one of the ladies is like, yeah, I'm 45, and I'm like, ma'am, you look 60.
Oh no.
And you would think you have so much money, and I'm found so bad because there's some white women who age beautifully.
Yes.
And then there's some who just, you have money. How are you aging this badly?
I feel like you age better when you're unproblematic.
I think that is true. Unfortunately, our generation has so many problems. And the thing is, as much as we try to end up being unproblematic, it's something that we don't realize that, unfortunately, the world has been based off of conflict.
Yes.
And a lot of the things in our world is based off conflict. Unfortunately, the system is in place the way that it is going to draw conflict. So with us being the generation that we are, in order for us to make that change, we're going to have to do something to make that change. Yes. We can't just be passive aggressive. We have to sit here and be like, okay, we want change to happen, so we need to go out and go vote, or we need to go make it happen. We can't just sit here and be like, well, maybe the older generation will get it correct for us.
They will not.
They will not, because they're going.
They're more. The planet.
They will sit here and they worry more about them right now. And I'm not saying my parents think that way. My parents definitely put into perspective of their generation plus the future generation, especially when it comes to their kids. But there's a lot of people out there who have money who only care about themselves and making more money. So that means keeping people in their pocket or in office that is going to continue being in their pocket. So as long as I can pay you money and you still in office, I'm gonna keep you there.
Exactly.
That's just it.
Baby boomers, I think, are the big issue.
They are.
Most of them are dying out now. That's
most
one
of
the
them
things that the coronavirus has helped with. Looking at you, Rona.
But I have a lot of boomers who are actually very very understanding though.
I do too. I have some, and then some that are
very gun-ho.
Just not.
But I realize in order for us to evolve, we have to understand that the world is constantly changing.
Yes.
And that we can't just be living in the here and now. And I get we want to live in the here and now, especially with uncertainty, with all the plagues, the pandemic and everything else going on. We want to live in the here and now. There's nothing wrong with living in the here and now, but there's also, we need to be planning for the future. And that's the only difference between our generation and previous generation. They literally planned their future. So everything that they did at that moment was for whatever was going to happen in the future while we live in the moment. And I think that's our major problem.
Yeah.
I feel like as our generation, that's our major problem. That's the reason why most of us don't know how to fucking save. Because we want instant gratification.
Yes.
Versus waiting and working and building and doing all this other stuff. There's very few of us, like my sister. She saves money for the future. She has a plan, has things written out. This is what I'm going to do. By this year, I'm going to do this. Or this year, I'm going to do that. Me, on the other hand, I'm like, I plan my months out. That's as far out as I'm going right now. Except, I know I want to have a kid before I'm 33.
Okay.
That's a goal. I'm going to adopt a kid by 33. That's it. We're going to, either that or I'm going to go to a sperm bank and be like, you got a male, black, good education. You know, I just need to make sure his sperm's good, okay? Oh, no genetic problems? The sperm's good? Okay, I'll take that one. How much is that? $250? And IVF treatment is $5,000? Oh, okay. I'll take that. Well, I'll go in the bed. So, turkey makes me. That's what I will be doing before 33 if I don't adopt. Speaking of which, a year behind for what? For your plans? Yeah. I mentioned plans, and she instantly go look at her plan book. Like, what are my plans again?
Yeah,
but that's
the best
it.
I've done with saving.
That's because you have a plan.
I do have a plan. And
you realize that their plan that you have is going to do that. Most people in our generation do not plan shit out.
That's true.
They don't. They don't. And I think, no offense, again, I feel like it's previous generations not teaching us. And
absolutely.
Us having the school raise us for some of us, and then the generation below that, our generation is having our kids learn from technology. Like, we'll give you a tablet, like, here you go, entertain yourself, have fun, and then walk off. We're not training them how to do no stuff.
Yeah,
I could say this, like, I learned how to balance a checkbook by myself, and then I turned around and learned more from my sister. And my sister learned from my mother, not my biological mother. My biological mother tried to teach me how to balance a checkbook, but at the time I was learning, I was like 10, 11. It was like math, and I hate math.
Math is exactly.
English is my jam. But it's I learned more about savings because of my sister. But I can always tell you this: my bills were always paid. I may never have no money for savings, but my bills were always paid. Always paid on time, because I have a crippling fear that if I don't pay it on time, I'm gonna get evicted. Or I'm going to lose my car. I'm going to randomly go downstairs and my car's gone and I'll be crying. So, that's just it. Also, find out who the Department of Education, I think they're picking the head for that too this year. The person who's going over...
Betsy DeVos.
Isn't she out this year too?
Yeah, she's so terrible.
She needs to go. She needs to go.
She needs to go.
She needs to go. Because everything about... I feel like she's the most uneducated education person in the world.
Oh, 100%. She has no business being She has no business being that.
And I don't have kids. I have no CDC. The person that they put over the head of
true.
CDC was horrible too. But
also, Trump has no business being.
we can.
No one in the government should be there. None of them care about you. Vote. Register to vote. Vote on November 5th. 3rd.
You about to send them out there the wrong day. Holy shit.
Vote. November 3rd.
There we go. November.
Sorry.
Yes. She is a lovely spastic girl. I love her to death.
Horrible.
So, no. November 3rd, guys. Please, please, please vote. If you're going to do ballot voting, please know when the deadline is to mail it out. If you physically need to take it to your post office, do that. Do not slide it into. Make sure that you have adequate time to mail it in. Make sure you're doing your due diligence to find out who's running, who's doing XYZ, because you want to make sure that you are doing the things that you need to be doing to not only protect and preserve your peace of mind, but you want to go ahead and make sure you're preserving the peace of mind of those who have to deal with these people for the next 2 to 4 years, especially when it comes to a lower level of the government versus the higher level of the government. And also, if you're a Trump supporter, bless your heart. Oh, honey, bless your heart.
Southern.
Don't explain it to them. If they don't know, they don't need to know. At this rate of time, oh, bless your heart.
My mom says that a lot. She's always like, oh, bless your heart.
And then I would probably tell mom she needs to go out the door if she would have told me that.
She would never say that to you. She likes you.
I know. Your mom likes me. I don't know what it is about moms, but moms love me. And then at the same time, do not push your political views on other people.
No.
The part of being American is having your own political view. I stand where I stand, where I say I don't care for Trump. But at the same time, I'm not going to go up to people saying you shouldn't support him because XYZ. That's my point of view. Opinions are like assholes and everybody got them. As my parents have been telling me for years, opinions are like assholes and everybody got them. But the most thing that I want you guys to understand is, as a human, you have the right and you are opinionated. But do not force your opinion on other people because that's just wrong. Educate people. There's a difference between educating and pushing your ideas on people. There's a difference. Please learn the difference. Please do the difference. If someone comes to you and say, hey, why do you support Trump? Educate them. Don't push your beliefs on them. Educate them. Don't go up to somebody saying, why do you like Trump? Do you know XX? That's pushing your beliefs on somebody. I'm not going to push my beliefs on them, on somebody. I know where I stand. I'm not voting for Trump. That's just it. But at the same time, you guys should really educate yourself on who else is there. It's not just the Democratic and the Republican Party. There is still people who are on the Liberal and who are also in the Green Party that you may actually side more with the Green Party or the Liberal Party. You do not have to vote for the main two people who are showing their faces on all the platforms, including YouTube. Unfortunately, I don't think they're on TikTok because TikTok is not allowing them to post it on there, and I think that's why Trump is trying to ban them.
Yeah, he's trying to ban it.
Facebook and IG. And with that being said, speaking of social media, with social media right now, there are so many ways to find out if you're registered to vote in your state. Yep. Please, 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 those are accurate resources that you can use to find out if you are eligible to vote. Yes. If you are registered in your county, in your state, please check it out. A lot of the states, because they know that people could not vote, because I know you need to have a state license. Mm-hmm. I don't have a Georgia license right now. I haven't had the time. When I moved here, it was right before the world shut down. And they were like, well, as long as you give us your social, we'll register you for the county. So me and my sister, we both registered that way. We don't have a state ID. Some states are allowing you to register to vote in your county if you just recently moved there in the midst of everything going on. And I know a lot of people moved from New York to New Jersey because of everything going on there, because they're talking about New York might still be fucked up for at least into 2023. Yeah. It's alright, we'll still move.
No, we're still moving.
YOLO! Yeah. That's my generation.
Exactly. And just always check, even if you are like sure that you're registered to vote, check, because I know in the past, like, there have been cases where, like, my mom or my dad thought they were registered to vote, but then, like, they weren't, and they had to redo it. So always just make sure just to be safe, because they like to pull all kinds of sneaky things on you.
You
didn't vote in the past couple elections.
Especially in the state of Florida, if you do not register to vote, or if you do not vote the years that they're allowing to vote, especially with those in between voting for every 2 years, every 4 years, and stuff like that. If you're not voting during that time, some states will void out your voting, as you would have to start anew, and you may not even know you're not registered to vote until you go get your ID. So please make sure you're doing that. Make sure you're checking. Also check your government's local times for different voting for different spots, especially when it comes to school boards and stuff like that. Because I know certain counties do school board voting. Yeah. So, and also whoever's on part of the school board also hinders your child's education. Me being a godparent, I can't vote for, Pinellas County because I'm not there. Yeah. So, unfortunately, my god kids are at the mercy of whatever the school board is at that area. Mm-hmm. So, it's you have to take a look. You have to make sure you're educated, because there's different levels of voting in different things. So, please, especially when you're a college student, or if you're a single mom, if you are part of the LGBT, if you want to even involve yourself in the government just a little bit to find out stuff, there is always free seminar stuff that you can go learn, educate yourself. There's resources. We are in a tech age where everything is at our fingertips.
So many resources.
And I think that is a reason why our generation is so much about instant gratification, because we got instant knowledge at our hands. We don't have to go to the library and research it.
Yeah.
That's just it. And I feel like at the same time, if you are going to educate somebody, or somebody who say, oh, I'm not going to go vote, just sit here and ask them simply, why do you feel like you don't need to vote? If they say it makes no difference, please point them to the resources and the history of what happened last election and why we are in the predicament that we're in, and the differences. If you have to bring out Schoolhouse Rock on them, because Schoolhouse Rock even talks about electoral college, I can bring up the YouTube videos. I mean, you may have to pay for it now, because I think it's like $1.99 for that one song for about the electoral college.
Yeah.
But I mean, Schoolhouse Rock is what I grew up on. That's how I learned different things about English and multiplications.
Like, it's been how wasn't it like 100 years ago? Women couldn't vote. Like,
oh, do you know how many times they still try to get that off the record? That they're trying to make sure that we don't vote in certain counties.
You can vote now. Like,
go do it. Oh, my favorite ones is women who wants to vote for misogynist pigs who don't care for women.
It's so horrible.
I'm like, so you're wasting what these women basically did. Okay.
It's so upsetting.
Some women would like to be housewives. I commend you. If you want to be a housewife, power to you, baby girl.
Not the life for me.
That is not the life for me. My dad has raised me to be very sufficient. My dad has taught me how to grill. I actually dated a guy for years who told me, if anything ever happens, I want to make sure you know how to change the tire. So I know how to change the tire, and I know how to check my oil and all my other stuff. I learned how to drive because my dad was like, I don't want you to ever be stranded somewhere because you got to be drove everywhere. This is not driving Miss Daisy.
Yeah.
We are in a generation where, as women, I understand you want to go back to the 50s and 60s and 70s and do the whole pinup and be a housewife and be pretty and all that other stuff.
Literally sounds horrible.
But guess what? Boo-boo. That's not how this works. We live in a society that, unfortunately for our generation, in order for us to have or maintain that lifestyle, both y'all need to work.
Yeah.
When it comes to political views, when you get into a relationship, should you be talking to your next potential partner about what their political views are? Yes or no?
Yes.
You feel like you need to go ahead and ask that is that a first date question, or is that a fifth or sixth date question?
I don't think it's a first date question. And it also matters, like, what am I looking for out of this? Because sometimes,
You're just swiping left on Tinder because you just really want to get somebody in between your legs.
Exactly. So it just kind of matters. Like, is this something that I'm looking to be long term? Because if yes, well, first off, too, a lot of times you can kind of tell. Sometimes people are kind of upfront about that, but I don't think it's a first date thing. To be honest, I don't think it is.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like that is something, like, if you know for a fact that you're going to get on a serious level with somebody, you kind of want to look at their political views.
Yeah.
Because even if I say Democratic and Republican, they are kind of like, some of them are becoming more moderate. There is still base for those political views.
Yes.
A lot more Republicans are more about getting rich in religious standpoint, and Democratic is more on still on money. I think both parties still very much on money.
Oh, 100%.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Both parties have huge flaws.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Like, huge.
But at the same time, you want to kind of also have that discussion when you're starting to get serious with somebody, because then you can kind of see where they're gauged at.
Absolutely.
Especially when it comes to, like, you know, voting for people, when it comes down to, you know, the health care. And it comes down to things about, you know, rights. What are their views about, you know, if your child turns out to be gay, straight, bi, or part of the LGBTQ community? I feel like that's also another conversation to have as well.
Yeah.
Because you never know what your child's going to come out. And a lot of the older generations, unfortunately, they are like, nah, if my child came out gay, I would disown them. That's honestly the wrong point of view, because that just kind of shows that you are not moderate. You're going to kind of be stuck in your ways. And some of our generations the same way, too, where they're stuck on what their parents told them, that they are not willing to learn, on realizing that that's not how we are going to evolve as a community, as a group, as a society, that we need to be able to have an open mind, have an open discussion. We're constantly changing every single day. And in order for us to change and evolve with it, because as humans, we're going to evolve.
Yes.
Animals are evolving. Bacteria is evolving. Because look at this. COVID is a SARS, you know, virus that is literally progressed from, you know, mutations and mutations and mutations. And we do evolve. We as humans evolve. Your cells are changing constantly inside your body. So you also have to have that mindset that you are going to evolve and change as well. So you have to have an open mind when you have those discussions with your friends, your family, because politics and religion is one of those two things that can make or break a person. But there's a difference between being an open-minded person and being a very closed-minded, no, I'm right, you're wrong person. Unfortunately, you're not going to succeed. You're not going to be better. You're just going to be kind of stuck in a standstill. So have those discussions. Be open-minded. Definitely educate yourself on who's going out and they're running for political stuff. Know what you're voting for in your areas. And I know we are gone on longer than we should have at this point in time. I think we're almost at an hour and some change. Hour and a half. So we're at an hour and a half. Because me and you can talk about politics all day. Because at the end of the day, we're one of those people that we can, like, have our discussions and, you know, talk and stuff. But I want people to understand that I'm not saying you should vote for Joe over Trump. Yeah. And I'm not telling you to vote for Trump over Joe. But I'm telling you guys to educate yourself enough to know what each person's political views are. Check out the Green Party. Check out the Liberal Party. Libertarian Party. Look, I am literally over here like Cottonmouth. Huh?
You say Cottonmouth?
Cottonmouth. Cotton Eye Joe. Anyway.
We all know why.
Shut up. Told you I had to get my life right before I read that poem. Anyway.
Love you.
Need to know what their stance is, especially when it comes down to stuff, especially those who like animals. A lot of these things also goes into effect of humane society and things of that nature. What is people's standpoints on you know, Department of Family Services, people in the adoption agencies, people when it comes to the stance of religion, people when it comes to the stance of education, people in the stance when it comes to healthcare, as well as your car insurance. And you be wondering why your car insurance gets higher every year. It's because of the people you vote for, babies. So it is your job, if you're over the age of 18 and you are allowed to vote, it is your job to do your research. Do not go by word of mouth. Do not go based off of what your parents believe you should vote or what your friends think you should vote. We are a generation that is very opinionated. We are a very passive-aggressive generation, but we are a very motivated generation.
Yes.
Go out. vote.
Please.
Not just for yourself, but future generations. Not just for, because we're saying you should. Do it because you care enough about yourself and your well-being and what goes on around for you. You may not think your opinion counts. It does count. It just may not. It makes a major dent on what is going on in your area. It definitely plays a part on people's points of view, because they are going to show a lot more people wanted this to happen, because a lot of the times you may vote and agree with a law that they're trying to pass or that they're trying to put into effect when it comes to like lower energy or things of that nature, and then they might be off by 50% or 15%, and then because nobody voted for it or not enough people vote, they'll take it off next year. They won't even try again next year. But your vote counts, because as long as we continue pressing it, they're going to keep trying to make it happen. So we have to keep in mind that that's what we need to do. And failure does not mean that we will never get it. That is unfortunately a part of the success process. We have to fail in order to succeed. Because if you fail, you're going to learn how to do it better. You're going to look at how you failed, what did you do wrong, and analyze it, try to make it better, and attack it a different way. But again, that's something I learned from my Americans, American Dream class, my humanities classes. We attribute failure to basically a sin, while, success is a virtue. But that's not the case. A lot of people have succeeded because they failed a few times, picked themselves up, figured out why they failed, and then came back 10 times harder. Yeah. A lot of these women who do beauty pageants know the fucking life of failure. Oh, yeah. And they still go and do it every single year. A lot of these artists, they may sit here and drop 3 or 4 duds, and they get that one fire track, and now they in there. Failure does not mean you are not going to succeed. Failure is a part of the success process. If you fail, just pick yourself back up, redo it, and that's the same for voting. Continue voting. As long as you have a vote, a right to vote, and a voice, use it. Because if you lose that and you can't vote, do you know how many people want to vote and they can't because they don't have the right to? That is a right that some people do not have. That's a power a lot of people don't have. So utilize it. Your voice is important. November 3rd, it matters. Just like everybody's life matters, especially black people, our Native Americans, my brothers and sisters, my kings and queens. You guys matter. Your voices matter. You're beautiful. You guys are amazing. Go out, go vote. Get these people out who don't care about us, who don't even want the bare minimum for us. Just remember, guys, that it is okay to not be okay. Self-love is the best love. Self-care is the best care. I want you guys to be amazing. I want you guys to understand that from the bottom of my heart, that life is just way, way too short for people to be sitting here and not doing something about it.
Yes.
Definitely. I want people to understand that we need to make change. And in order for us to make change, we need to go ahead and we need to break the system. And I'm not saying go out and hack no shit. But I mean, like, seriously, break the fucking system. Go do the things that we need to go ahead and do. So, thank you. I hope you guys have a wonderful night. Thank you again for showing up. And I'll see you guys in 2 weeks for next month, for Spooky Month. Spooky Month. We're going to go back to mental health and hobbies for Spooky Month. Bye-bye.